Okay, so here we go with the walkthrough of the Quadratic Equations 1, solving quadratics by factorising. That's what this one's all about, task set 1784. Okay, so we've got x plus 6, we've got this equation x squared plus 8x plus 12 equals 0. We've already got the x plus 6, and we have to fill this bit in. Now, if you think about this, how the quadratics work, this one has to be x, so you can get x times x is x squared, and this one has to be plus 2, because you get the 6 times 2 is 12. So that one's fairly easy to factorise if you've already got one. You just got to think about what you times this one by to get to here. This 8x in the middle comes from underneath when you do 6x, and the 2x when you expand the brackets. There's your 8x underneath, but the top bit gets us the factorising. Now I always talk about expanding brackets like this bit, so I use this method for expanding brackets, whatever you might call that. I call it the smiley face. That line should go over there. So there's a smiley face one, so this is what I'm talking about. So this top line is x squared, this second line is the number, the coefficient, the number by itself, the constant term, and then underneath you get the middle term. Okay, so 8x. What this now tells me is I've got two bits, and these are times together, so I've got x plus 6 times by x plus 2, and we've got to get to 0. And what this means is one of these two things has to be 0, because when you multiply two things together, and you want the answer 0, one of the two things has to be 0 in order for that to work. So either x plus 6 equals 0, in which case x equals minus 6, you can just take this plus 6 to the other side, or x plus 2 is going to equal 0, in which case x must equal minus 2. And there's our two answers for the quadratic, and you're nearly always going to end up with two answers. Sometimes you end up with one answer and it's just called a double root. These are called roots. So sometimes that might happen, but in general you'll get two answers for any quadratic. Alright, next one. So using this trick of being able to fill this bit in by looking at the top end, so this one's got to be the x. This one over here, now I'm trying to make minus 35, and I've got minus 5. So minus 7 times 5 is 35, so that's got to be a 7. Now the sign in front is going to be a plus, because a minus times a plus is a minus. So that's got to be a plus 7. Now this tells me that if these two things are times together equal 0, either x minus 5 equals 0 or x plus 7 equals 0. So one of those two has to be true. In this case, x has got to equal 5. 5 take away 5 is 0. And in the second case, x has got to be equal to minus 7 because minus 7 plus 7 is 0. Next one, we've got, so going for this one over here, we've got x, and this is going to be 5. 5 7s are 35. And then I want to make a minus into a plus, so I need another minus here. Minus times a minus is a plus, and that's going to be the factorising. We've got, so if one equals 0, the two things times together, so either that one equals 0 or x minus 5 equals 0, in which case x equals 7 or x equals 5 are going to be the two answers. 5 take away 5 is nothing, 7 take away 7 is nothing. X squared minus 3x minus 18, I haven't put any bits in here. I wonder what MyMaths told me this was, because on the first page it does tell you them all. So x squared minus 3x, where's that one? X squared minus 3x minus 18. I've got x plus 3 in this bracket. Okay, so this one's got to be x. X times x is x squared, and 3 times 6 is 18, but I want minus 18, so I'm going to have minus 6. Plus and a minus makes a minus. Plus times a minus is a minus. That tells me then that x plus 3 equals 0, or x minus 6 equals 0, because one of those two has to be equal to 0 if you're going to multiply them together and get 0, in which case x equals minus 3 or x equals 6. Next page, we've got some factorising to do there now. So we've done all the easy work where on page 1, where you've already given half the factorisation, which makes it a bit easy. So the way I factorise is I break down the 27 to 1, 27, 2, no 3, 9 to 27, 4, 5, 6, that's it. And the only way I can make plus 12 is having plus 3 and plus 9. So I've got x plus 3 and x plus 9 in brackets, and that's going to equal 0, so that's the same as that one. So in this case, either x plus 3 equals 0 or x plus 9 equals 0, in which case x must equal minus 3 or x must equal minus 9. Next one, we've got the 20. So 20 is 1 and 20, 2 and 10, 3, 4 and 5, and the only way I can make plus 8 is by doing plus 10 and minus 2. There's my plus 8, and then minus 2 times plus 10 is minus 20 in fact. So I've got x minus 2 and x plus 10, equals 0, in which case x minus 2 equals 0, or the x plus 10 has to be 0. One of those two has to be 0. This one gives me x equals 2, and this one gives me x equals minus 10. Over here, next one, I've got 1, 18, 2 9s, 3 6s, and the only way I'm going to make minus 9 out of that lot is by minus 3 and minus 6, and then minus 3 times minus 6 is plus 18, so that does work. So x minus 3, x minus 6 equals 0, in which case x minus 3 equals 0, or x minus 6 has to equal 0. One of the two equals 0. This one leads me to x equals 3, and this one leads me to x equals 6. Just take the minus 6 to the other side to get plus 6, don't you? So that's all I'm doing. 40 is 1, 40, 2 and 20, 3, 4 and 10, 5 and 8. Says my options are 40. And the only way I can make minus 6 is by having plus 4, take away 10, that gets me down to minus 6, that's the only option. That gives me x plus 4, x minus 10 equals 0, so x plus 4 equals 0, or x minus 10 has to be equal to 0, in which case x equals minus 4, or x equals 10. And that's the end of the MyMaths task. Now I've done one other one where I've got some random equation already factorised. I just want to show you why I'm writing that out, because it's quite obvious once you're working through. As soon as you've got the factorising bit, x minus 3, x minus 6, the answers are going to be 3 and 6. It's the opposite sign to what's in the brackets. So this one was plus 4 minus 10, so the answers are minus 4 and plus 10. So it's always the opposite sign inside the brackets, the solutions. Okay. Now I've done another one just as a factorised equation, just to show you this. 2x minus 3 and x minus 4. So this first answer is going to be x equals 4, so that's quite obvious. So I've got x minus 4 equals 0, in which case x equals 4. But what about this one? About 2x minus 3? 2x minus 3 equals 0. Now if I was to solve this, what I would do is I would put the 3 on the other side, so I would get 2x equals 3. And then I would divide by 2, so I get x equals 3 over 2. Okay, so if you end up with something like this question, where you've ended up factorising like that, and you won't on MyMaths because apparently they're all just x squares, but if you ever come across this situation, you've just got to set up that equation and then solve it by taking the 3 across, becomes positive, take the 2 across, it becomes divide, and you get x equals 1.5, 1.5, 3 over 2, or however you want to write it. Okay, that's it for 1784 quadratics. Solving quadratics by factorising. Bye now.